There are frogs in the pond in front of my house making noises. Can you hear them? Hello, I'm Cecilia and welcome back to another Artist Alley vlog. But before we get into it, today's episode is sponsored by myself and my website. I built my very own brand new website and a new shopping experience. I have a newsletter, a blog, a portfolio, and more, so be sure to check out storycrossingstudios.com and feel free to reach out to me, purchase anything, and sub to the mailing list. Hi, it's editing me with very messy hair, and you can see my laptop right there because I was editing. I just wanted to say that I recorded this intro and all of this footage literally months ago, and it's been so long since I've been editing and doing YouTube, and I'm so sorry for the delay. But yes, my website is still up, please go check it out, but my shop is closed right now because I'm revamping and redoing every single part of my inventory. So I will launch all new products, I will leave fan art completely behind because, well, it's in the legal gray zone. So even though my website is currently closed, I would still really appreciate you if you checked it out. I do want to quickly mention that there is one single product in my shop right now, and that is this sticker. I am not one for politics. Frankly, I hate politics, especially on a platform for art, but I do know that with my audience I can do some good. So I made this sticker, and all proceeds from this sticker will go to charity, to the PAL Humanity Initiative, to help people in the Gaza conflict. So I would really appreciate you if you would check it out. There's more information on the website. So yeah, buy a sticker, donate, and support my art in the process. Thank you so much. Apart from that, I also wanted to jump in and say that this month is my first YouTube anniversary, which is not really a big deal because I'm just a small channel, but yeah, it's been fun to make videos even though I made very little. And I just want to say thank you so much for your support, and let's just get back to it and finish this mess. I know that 2 Artist Alley videos back to back, even when there's quite a lot of time between them, is kind of a lot, so I'm sorry for that. I hope the next video can be something else, but I've been doing quite a lot of cons and I just really want to talk about it. Today I will tell you all about Heroes Made in Asia in Evenementenhal Gorinchem on the 24th and 25th of February 2024. That convention was literally a week after the Fantasy Fest, from which I made my last vlog, so it was quite tiring, but it was also really awesome. And when we're done with Heroes Made in Asia, I also quickly want to touch on another con called Comic, Film and Manga Fest that was in Rotterdam in Ahoy on the 23rd and 24th of March, which, as I'm filming this, is about 2-3 weeks ago. And I want to talk about it because I got sick during this convention, and I know that's not the most positive thing to talk about, but it is reality and I want to show reality, so I want to talk about it. I will probably just only quickly touch on it, but I did learn a lot from that experience, so I do want to share that with you. By now, I think we know how this goes. I shoot as many clips as is humanly possible without insane embarrassment for either myself or my customers or anyone else at the convention. And then we do a little recap at the end, which includes finances, and you know, that's always eventful. Heroes Made in Asia is a really big event. It was the biggest event that I have yet to do, and it's done by the same organizers who do Heroes Dutch ComicCon, which is, in their own words, the biggest con in the Netherlands, and Heroes Made in Asia, which from now on I will probably call HMIA. But HMIA was my first ever real Comic-Con, by which I mean a convention that focuses on like fandoms and celebrity voice actors, signings, cosplays, concerts, etc. And at these conventions, the dealer hall is really important. That includes the Artist Alley, but it is less the main attraction than it was at, for example, Fantasy Fest. So it's interesting to look at the differences and see how they compare. But it was a really awesome and eventful experience, and I would love to tell you all about it. So let's just get into it. So on the Friday, the day before the convention started, my grandparents and I went to the Evenementenhal Gorinchem to build up my booth. And it's really bittersweet for me to see this because my grandfather passed away
this June, and it's now June as of recording this audio, and this was in February, so it's really weird to see this. But yeah, we got to the Evenementenhal Gorinchem, and it was a really big hall. I don't think I've ever seen a hall or like building this big. I was really impressed by it. But yeah, I talked to the organizer, Tessa, who you see walking around sometimes, and there was an issue with the person in the booth next to me, because the person who was originally appointed there had booked a double booth, so they had assumed that they would get my booth as well, but they didn't because it was my booth. So very last minute they had to switch people, and my neighbor, who would only come the following morning, had only 2 hours to build up her booth. So yeah, that was super stressful. Yeah, here you just get a scope of the entire thing. It was so big. It was huge. Oh my god. Yes, and that evening I went home and I printed some tote bags because I did that last minute, of course. But I'm glad I did because they sold very well.
Hi, hello. It's currently 6:45 a.m. and as you can hear by my voice, I am not a morning person. My mom is very sweet and she will drive me to Gorinchem, and she will be here in about half an hour. So I should get ready, get dressed, do my makeup, eat something, and I'll see you in the car.
Okay, so I didn't film anything in the car, but I got to the Evenementenhal right on time, and there was a little bit of stress because I forgot to pick up my bracelet, so my dealer bracelet, the day before, so I had to do that this morning, but I got to my booth half an hour before the convention opened. Here's the little booth tour. Honestly, I have a new setup now, which you will see in future vlogs, but I liked this setup, but it's still really chaotic, and I like my new setup a lot better. So yeah, but this is how it was. I have my sticker tray and my keychains. Yeah, the sticker tray is really the showstopper. I left in a little bit of the original video sound, so you will hear people talking and just rumors everywhere. The hall was really big, but because of that the acoustics were really intense and you could hear a lot of things at the same time. It was honestly pretty tiring for an introvert like myself. But then something really fun happened, because the person left to my booth did not show up, and therefore I could use their booth to display some of my products. So I displayed my tote bags there, and they sold really well because of that, as you just saw. I almost sold them all in like 3 hours time. It was crazy. So yeah, here's my sales sheet, and you can see how insanely many customers I had. Yeah, so this is how my booth looked from behind, and I had this fun basket of little sticker flakes that I would gift people if they buy something. People really like that. And then, well, the day was over before I knew it, and with a lot of people, I went on the train back home. The next day, I decided to film myself walking to my booth to show you what it looked like before the convention opened, but just also show you the scope of the thing. It's so big. So on the left here, there is a little photo area, and then right now I'm walking straight to the artist alley. So yes, what you're seeing right now is the artist alley. A lot of people weren't there yet, so a lot of booths were still covered. Everything on the left is artists. There were so many artists. It was so amazing to meet so many new people, so many cool people. I was so happy. And yeah, then my booth was right here on the left. It was still closed, of course. So then I opened my booth, and honestly, the rest of the day I was really overwhelmed. I was also really happy. This was one of the best conventions I've ever been to, but I did not film much, to be honest. So yeah, this is filming after the con was done and after everyone was packing up, and I was packing up as well. So here's the really sad empty shots of my grid cubes and a goodbye shot to the building, and that was it basically.
Hi and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that look into the convention itself, and well, let's start with the finances because I feel like that's the most eventful thing to talk about. Let's first talk expenses. So the table cost for HMAA was really really expensive. HMIA charges the same amount for a table as they do for Heroes Dutch ComicCon, which again is a really busy con. And I heard from other vendors that HMIA is not even close to being just as busy, so a lot of people felt a little bit ripped off. And I can understand that, because my table was a whopping 520 euros, which is insane. HMIA was one of the first tables I ever booked, even before I did the Creaweekend, which was my first con ever. And I made a lot of mistakes when booking this, because I booked a U stand, and that is a stand that's on like the side of the artist alley, so you're not in the row with all the artists, which usually means that there's more like foot traffic there, and thus the table is more expensive because they assume you make more. But what I saw is that a lot of people love the artist alley so much and they want to see everything that they literally go table by table and look at everything. So it didn't really make that much of a difference. And because all of those people were super cute, I don't think it makes a lot of a difference if I go have a regular stand during the next convention. Sometimes it even seems more crowded there than in the big lane that was in front of my booth. And I also did not know that I booked a stand that was more expensive. So it's definitely good to know that whenever you book a stand, you know the prices of each stand. For next year, and yes, I am going, even though, spoiler alert, I did not break even, because I do feel like the con did a lot for me in terms of experience and exposure, and I also have to pay 400 euros next year, which is 120 less than it was this year. And they also moved the convention from Gorinchem to the Jaarbeurs in Utrecht, which is a really big hall, and it's literally in the center of our country, so a lot of people will be able to get there more easily. So I feel like it will be busier, so I do think it will be worth it to go next year. But yeah, what I wanted to say is that for next year I have booked a regular stand, so not a U stand. So yes, when it comes to expenses, I pay too much for the table, that much is clear, and the table is just in itself really expensive if you compare it to other conventions. So yeah, it was a lot, but luckily I did not have that many material costs, as I had a lot of products left over from Fantasy Fest, and for the products that I had to remake, I had a lot of the materials that I needed already at home. So I basically had no material costs, which was really awesome. And then let's get to the fun part, which is income. I keep a sales sheet, and the one for this con is really big because this was my best con yet, so that is really awesome. Let's break it down. On Saturday, I had 60 customers. 60 customers! I cannot believe how insane that is. And I made a total of 197 euros and 30 cents, which means that the average sale was 3 euros and 20 cents. On Sunday, it was a lot less busy, and I had 30 customers, which is still a lot, and it was still good. I made 111 euros and 50 cents, so that's an average sale of 3 euros and 70 cents. On both days, my best hours were surprisingly later in the day than any of the other cons I've done before. I had 11 customers on Saturday between 3 and 4 p.m. and on Sunday I had a record of 9 customers between 4 and 5 p.m. So that's rather late in the day. But when we add that all together, I made a total of 316 euros and 80 cents. Now, if I remind you of the table costs of 520 euros, I obviously did not break even at all. But I did have the Fantasy Fest the week before, and because it's all in the same month, I kind of took the profits together. So when it comes to monthly Artist Alley income in February, I had 316 euros 80 at HMIA and 269 euros at Fantasy Fest. So together that is 612 euros 80 in the entire month. And the expenses were for the table at HMIA 520 and for the table plus material costs at Fantasy Fest 204 euros 50. So that are expenses of a total of 725 euros 50. That's a lot of numbers, I'm sorry. So that means that I made a loss of 112 euros 70. When I analyzed this, I think this loss had a couple reasons. First off, the table for HMIA was just too expensive, and I overspent on that, and that was just not good. And second off, I think my prices are too low, and I also offer almost no products that are more expensive than 5 euros. So it was really hard to make a sale more than the average of €3. So even though I had a lot of awesome customers, I just did not get that much income. I think I can change this by slightly upping my prices. For example, I charged €1.50 for a sticker, and I saw some people charge €3 for a sticker that was not laminated, even though mine are laminated. So I think I'm upping that to €2 and then make a deal of like 3 + 1 free, so then more people are likely to buy something for €6. And when it comes to more expensive products, I did for the next con get wooden pins in the mail. I had them next to me. But yeah, these wooden pins are a lot more expensive than stickers, of course, and I can sell them for $5 each, I think. So I hope that will rack up my sales or rack up my income a lot. So next Heroes Made in Asia, the costs are €120 lower, which is awesome, and we're also going to be in a bigger hall. So I have quite high hopes. It's also very normal for a beginning artist to not break even yet, so keep in mind that this was just my 3rd con ever and my first ComicCon ever, so I'm honestly pretty happy with the fact that I had 90 customers, which is just insane. It boggles my mind to say that number. But I do want to keep in mind that even though I had an awesome experience, most conventions charge about 150 or €200 for a table. I'm going to more Comic-Cons in the coming few months, so I hope to compare and see if Heroes Made in Asia is worth the higher table costs. For next year I'm gonna try it out, but if I don't break even yet again, I might just not go again. Then I do want to quickly touch on my bestsellers because I feel like that's always really fun. The thing that sold best were tote bags, especially these Book Wizard, Book Witch designs. I do want to quickly say that they sold really well because I had that extra table that I showed you, and also because I had a lot of oopsie tote bags, which I sold for really cheap. So a lot of people came to me to buy a bag if they needed a bag, because other artists would sell them for like 12 and I would charge $3.50 for the ones that weren't perfect. Then stickers did really well, especially Zelda stickers, and then this one did really well, the sand sealed plushie sticker, and Pokemon stickers, especially this Snorlax and Pichu one did really well, so that's really fun to see. Also my 3 for $2.50 little mini pins or mini buttons did really well. This one did the best, the Book Witch one. And sticker sheets did really well. When I look at my online shop and also the past cons, sticker sheets were my worst sellers, but they were like my best sellers at this con, so that was really fun. Especially the compendia, so this is the Hyrule Compendium one, and no, this is the New Horizons Compendium one, sorry. And this is the Hyrule Compendium one. Those did really well, but also this one, which is funny because this is a Christmas sticker sheet and I brought it with me for like jokes, but a lot of people really like this Snoopy sheet. So yeah, that's really fun. When overall I compare it, I see that my worst sellers at HMIA were original art things. So I mean, my fairy tale bookmarks did really bad. My artist therapy keychain didn't do that well, and my original art sticker sheets also didn't do that well. And I think that just really goes to show that the audience is different, because those things were the best sellers at Fantasy Fest because it were like the more fantasy fairy tale designs. So there's really a difference in audiences. The people that go to like fantasy cons and the people that go to actual comic cons. People that go to comic cons really are there for like the fandoms and the franchises and the things that they know. So that is really interesting to see. I think that is it for Heroes Made in Asia. As I promised, I have very limited footage of a con a month later in Ahoy, Rotterdam, which was Comic, Film and Manga Fest. And I wrote a whole blog about this on my website, so if you want to read more about it, please go read it. But I got really sick after about 4 hours into the convention, and I am just gonna roll the footage that I have, and in a voiceover I'm just gonna tell you all about it.
So yes, here is that voiceover. I have been rather open about my chronic mental illness over on Instagram, and that illness includes me having major episodes. I won't go into much detail about my suffrage, But the week before the con, I was crunching for the con way too hard, and I barely slept, and I was extremely exhausted when the con started. And this time lapse is from the build-up day, the day before the con, and it went okay that day, so okay enough for me to still go. But the next morning during my travels to Rotterdam, I kind of felt it coming, but I tried to ignore it. But during the con, about 4 hours in, the episode started anyway, and as I was alone and I could not cope, I saw no other option than to leave. I talked to a staff member who was really kind, and she helped me pack, and the others around me were super kind as well, and they filled up my spot. So yeah, I got home, I was so tired, I slept for like 14 hours straight, and I learned that I have to pace myself before conventions and that my illness will not leave, no matter how much I want to do an event. It's a harsh way to learn, especially since I of course lost all the investment costs, but it's an effective way to learn. Anyway, my setup was really good actually, it improved a lot. I had this nice string thing above me with the tote bags, and I think that looked pretty awesome.
And we're back for an outro, yay! I know this might not be the most positive Artist Alley vlog you'll ever watch, since I did not break even and I also got sick, but I do hope you really enjoyed this video and this vlog, and I hope you enjoyed spending some time at my table. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who visited either con and said hi, bought something, and just had a conversation with me. I really appreciate you. You made my day. And yeah, I'm going to ComicCon Holland in a few days, so I hope to see you there. Be sure to subscribe and like the video so that this small little baby channel can grow. That would be awesome. And please comment a heart in your favorite color if you made it all the way to the end. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! There is a motor.